Erin Cleveland is here. She's an etiquette expert and the author of the column Finishing School for the Huffington Post. Good morning.
Morning.
Great to see you.
You too.
Okay, so it can seriously be a minefield. We want to scare people off throwing great parties,
Yeah.
but there are sometimes things that you just need to keep in mind if you're going to do this. So let's get right to it. You've brought a list, and then our viewers have sent in some questions.
Exciting. I
So
love
we'll do those.
questions.
All right.
Yeah.
So you say do set mini deadlines.
Do. I think that's the best place to begin is if a party seems really daunting, break it out into smaller mini deadlines. So anything you can do in advance, map it out by weeks. So get all your shopping done for shelf-stable things, all your prep work, anything you can shop. So the night of, it seems way less daunting.
Right.
And look for smart shortcuts. So I'm definitely not above hitting the prepared food section of the store and sneaking a couple cheat items onto the menu.
Love.
Absolutely. And box wine's a nice little shortcut too. So you can cram 5 bottles into one box, super easy to carry if you're schlepping it on the subway. Easier on the wallet, easier on the environment.
People aren't judging this the same way they used to judge
Absolutely.
it, are they?
No, not at all. So those are some quick shortcuts to get you started and just take a bit of the anxiety getting started in
All
your
right.
party planning.
Do simplify your menu pairings.
Definitely. So I've also, over the years, been guilty of night of the party. I think I'm going to experiment with 9 new recipes and get totally overwhelmed. So I've learned to stick to
nachos.
yeah. So stick to a couple smaller things, but make them in big batches, in big quantities. So that way you can replenish them as the night goes on, and it's way easier than fussing with a bunch of intimidating new things. Keep your bar really simple too.
So this is a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So you're throwing a party, should you consider people's allergies? Or if you've got vegetarians coming, do you have to accommodate them?
You don't have to, but certainly if you're hosting vegetarians for dinner, I wouldn't plan a steak dinner. So I guess in a roundabout way, I'd be mindful of those things, but I wouldn't worry about carrying everything
Follow-up, because I don't eat meat, but this looks so good.
These are pretty democratic things, and these are
Yeah.
great. Like a cheese platter and charcuterie are awesome because you can make them in advance, pop them in the fridge, and they don't keep you slave to the kitchen all night, which is really
You can
important.
have this, Les.
And people, I can have a pickle, I can have cheese.
Hey, have a gherkin.
But I always feel like a bit of a goober when I walk in. I'm like, I don't eat meat, and I don't want to make it a hassle for the host.
But that's so common these
It is,
days.
and there's so many
It's not like you're
allergies
going to be the only one.
and so many
there.
preferences. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a faux pas to come in, or should you let them know in advance?
If they ask,
Yeah, if they don't ask, just don't worry about it.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't sweat it
Bring
at all.
your own carrots.
I know.
BYOC.
Yeah, my own granola. Lame.
All right, we got questions from peeps? We got viewers?
Sir, we do,
Yeah.
sir. Sue from
Hit me.
Timmins says, how should I handle unannounced guests or guests who didn't RSVP?
It happens.
Turn them away at
doesn't
the
it?
door. That's my.
Yeah,
no?
that's bad form.
You heard it here first. Alex turns away his guests at the door. Welcome them in, absolutely. The more the merrier. In fact, it's always a good idea to plan for a couple more folks than those of RSVP'd, so you can accommodate last-minute guests or people who bring along a guest of a guest. And whisk them inside and thank them for coming and pop a glass of wine in their hand. Absolutely.
It's better than making a big fuss over it, right?
Yeah, and certainly don't call it the fact that they're there by surprise. Just welcome them and stick a drink in their hand.
That is the gracious
Of
thing to
course.
do.
All right, Jake from Oakville asks, I'm hosting a cocktail party. Is it okay to ask guests to bring a bottle of wine or an appetizer to share?
That's a loaded question. I don't think. I mean,
You
certainly
better
if
just
someone
call that a
offers,
potluck.
Yeah.
that's not really hosting then. So I think if that's the intention to host a potluck, make that really clear in your invitation. Otherwise, your other guests are going to feel isolated if they show up empty-handed, right?
Follow up, and this is one that I don't know. BYOB.
Right.
So you get invited to that. Does that mean you bring enough for yourself, or you bring enough for yourself and some of the other people at the party, yourself and the host? Like, do you essentially stroll in with a 6-pack and just be like, "This is what I'm drinking. I don't know about you."
Show up with 2 of these and like 4 for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say
what's
right in the middle, Liza.
expectation?
Yeah, I'd say right in the middle for a BYOB. So have enough for yourself and then maybe for a little bit to share. But I always bring something for the hosts that's just for them.
Yes.
And I demark that somehow. So either have something with a big bow on it so they're clear that this is the gift portion, and then something that you're going to drink for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Christina from Thornhill would like to know, and this is very relevant and becoming more and more so, if you're hosting a party, do you have any control or any say in the photos your guests take and then post, especially online and social media, Twitter, of course, Facebook,
I wonder about this
Instagram?
thing.
Yeah. You don't.
Okay.
Unless you put an embargo on photography when
Could you,
people come in the
on the
door.
invite say no Facebook, please?
Because what if it's in your house?
Sure.
And, you know, you're very private about your house, and then all of a sudden people are posting it on Facebook or tweeting it out.
Suppose you could if you're that particular about it, but
Well, I would feel like if I'm hosting a party and I don't want my guests in any way to feel like they're censoring themselves.
Yeah.
I want them to come and have fun. And now
Yeah.
if they're like, and they see someone whip their phone out and everybody has, it's like, put those away.
well, phones away at parties is a whole nother topic of discussion
Right.
that I
But just
can talk
please
about.
don't post on Facebook.
Yeah, and especially when if it's an issue of so and so from work was invited, but then Alan wasn't invited,
Right.
as we talked
Alan keeps
about.
getting invited to
Because
all
Alan
parties.
turns away his
You
guests
know,
at the door when they
and,
go to
and that's an
Yeah,
issue
right.
because if your party's all
Sure.
over social media,
Yeah. And then
But-
certainly the next day, though, if there's photos that are unflattering, I think it's absolutely okay to ask the poster to take them down.
Yeah, I mean, it's so instant now the way we post
Yeah.
photos, right? Somebody takes a picture of you and you're in the wrong angle and you can see your love handle. And you're like, whoa, 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 and then everybody's
Yeah.
seen it. Okay, this one's from Martin from Vaughan. He writes, how can you prevent guests from crashing at your house for the night if you're hosting a party? Can you tell them to leave at some point? This is a big one.
Ooh, that's a twofold question. I think a responsible host should be ready to host their guests.
Overnight.
Absolutely. If someone has, a bit too much to drink, I think it's part of your responsibility to be ready to host people as a last-minute guest. So that's part one of the question. Then the second part is plant the seed with a couple of your close friends at the party that you're ready to wind things down. So that the exit message isn't actually coming from the host,
Right.
but you enlist some trusted help.
Right.
to help
That's
usher
a good
people out.
one.
I like that. Shrewd. Karen Cleveland, thank you so much. Again, she is the author of Finishing School, a blog rather, on Huffington Post. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks